Good morning, everybody. It's Colton. Welcome back to the Mile 17 podcast. Today, we have a little bit of a touchy subject, touchy topic to go over that I know a lot of people really avoid and would much rather not talk about this and face the fact that we are all immortal and that we all have a ticking clock that will eventually come to an end. If you're watching this on video, you'll be able to see that I am ready for work. Well, I don't even know if you'd know that, but because I have a vest on and just a shirt, but I am about to head into work. For those of you who don't know, I work in the emergency department as a nurse. I just wanted to hop on here and discuss something that has been really heavy on my mind and honestly something I've really thought about a lot in my life. Just because in my line of work, like we deal with a lot of death, and especially in the emergency department, it's a lot of sudden death, and things like car accidents or shootings or stabbings or cardiac arrest or just anything that you could possibly think of, just sudden death. People fall, things happen all the time. But the ones that really stick with me and the situations that I feel like I have learned the most from at a philosophical level, I guess you would say, are the people who are terminally ill, who are actively dying slowly. Because, when I started my nursing career, one of my first jobs, I worked on an oncology unit. It was an inpatient oncology unit. For those of you who don't know, that's cancer. And I did that for about a year, maybe a little bit more than a year. And it really gave me a perspective on just life in general. These people would come in and they would be young, maybe 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, all the way up to 80s, 90s, yes. But ultimately, these people were coming in, going through treatment, and you don't even realize that, like, when you're just going through your life and just going through the motions and letting life pass you by and not taking control of your life, that then you wake up, you're 41 and you got a little bit of pain in your belly, you don't know really what's going on, you go to the doctor, come to find out you have stage 4 cancer. And a diagnosis like that is scary. You all of a sudden it just slaps you in the face and you look at your life and you're like, what have I been doing? Like, I noticed that these people all had they were the best patients, honestly. I've said this my entire career, that the best patients, for the most part, as a generalized statement, are the cancer patients because they have a different perspective. Like, they realize that their time may be limited. Yes, some go through treatment, some get through the cancer and get out on the other side and cure the cancer that had taken over their body. But a lot of people don't. And for some, for a lot, it's a long journey. And it really makes you look at your life and realize what's actually important. And I think a lot of us get stuck on that hamster wheel of just like, I gotta do this. I gotta do this. I gotta get this job. I have to make this much money. I have to buy this house and get this car and have like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we just like feel like we have to do all these things because that's what you do in life, instead of just taking a step back and being like, this is what I actually want. This is the type of work I want to do because it fills my soul. Or this is the city or the town I want to live in because this is where I feel most connected to the earth and to my soul and to the people around me. We all have different wants, needs, ambitions, and I just don't think that we realize how tender life really is until you personally know somebody that's, and I'm talking more on the younger realm of life. Like, when it's always devastating and sad when somebody gets a diagnosis, especially a cancer diagnosis. It just hits a little bit deeper when people are a little bit younger because they have so much life left to live. Again, that's not to discredit anybody that's going through a cancer diagnosis. You can be 99 and get a cancer diagnosis, and that can still just be devastating. But what I'm saying is, like, when you're younger, like, it slaps you in the face because it's like, oh my God, like, there's all this life left to live. And what have I been doing up to this point? Like, you may have been on the grind, just going, 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 like, can't stop, doing things that you don't want to do, but you've got $1 million in the bank account, and then you're 35, boom, cancer. And it's like, okay, well, I just spent my whole life doing what? Things that I didn't want to do to have a certain number in my bank account, to have certain things that I don't really need in my life. And, I'd be it'd be very silly for me to sit here and be like, "Oh, money doesn't matter," because that's not the case. I think that it is important to strive for greatness and to strive for, if money and finances is something that's so important and drives you, like, go for it. Like, try to be a millionaire, like, try to be a billionaire, like, whatever that is for you, go for it. What I'm saying is when you're spending so much time on this hamster wheel of life, going to a job that you fucking hate just to get that paycheck and to build that retirement and whatever that may be, like, that's not life. Like, that's just going through the motions and doing it because that's what society says that we need to do. And so what I've noticed with people that get cancer, it forces you to go inward and to look at your life and to look at the things that really matter to you, because you have to start prioritizing. Because one, if you're going through chemo, radiation, like that stuff drains the life out of you. It is like it's exhausting, it's hard on your body. So you have to prioritize things that matter to you, one. And then two, if you're looking at your life and being like, well, I could possibly die from this, like what do I want to do with the time I have left if this is where it's going to end for me? Like it gives these people a perspective and gives them almost like an expiration date, if you will, of my time's limited. I've got to do what I want to do. And for me, I'm like, why can't we just live like that? Like, why do we need a terminal illness or something so drastic in our lives to change and live for ourselves and to live a full, authentic life? And I'm talking straight to myself right now. I am the absolute worst about this, to the extent that I will push my body until I physically and mentally just can't do it anymore to make that paycheck, to because I feel like I was conditioned as a child to just like work and work and work and work and work, and that's just what you do. And again, I'm not saying that hard work is not something to be valued and to strive for. Like I honor that. I honor hard work. I'm thankful that I have that drive within me to work hard. But there's a balance and there's a certain point in your life to where you're like, do I like this? Do I enjoy what I'm doing? Or am I just working as hard as I can to fill time? And what I think a lot of people do is it's just like addiction with drugs, alcohol, is that we fill our time with work so that we don't have to face the actual things in our lives that matter, like the traumas we've been through or the way we feel or the relationships in our lives. Like we fill our time with all this work because then we don't have to face anything else. Like it is honorable to look busy with work because you're making money, you're keeping busy, you're building a business, like whatever that may be. It's honorable to do something like that when in a roundabout way, it's literally the same thing as numbing yourself with alcohol or drugs in that aspect of numbing and not facing your life and the things in your life. Yes, of course, working a work addiction is a little bit healthier in different ways than being addicted to alcohol or drugs. That's obvious. Back to kind of the cancer diagnosis. So I worked on a cancer unit. From there, I had transferred to the emergency department where you get everything. But at my current hospital that I'm working at, I've said this before, it's connected to a cancer center. So like we get so many cancer patients, like so many every day. We're faced with this. And it's really rare cancers. It's people that are super young, people that are older. You have an entire spectrum of oncology patients, and we have it there. And again, it just like every day, and it's crazy because I said I deal with this almost every day, and I'm still needing the reminder. Like I still sometimes will get a patient and it slaps me in the face, and I'm like, "Hello, Colton. Like you deal with this all the time. Like why is this a surprise to you still?" Because when I get the 30-year-old mom who is battling cancer and battling for her life because she has something so much bigger to fight for because she has those babies at home and realizing that she wants different for her own personal life, like those are the ones that just like slap you in the face because you're like, wow, like, and that's the hard thing as a nurse is like you have to be able to not put yourself in these people's shoes every day because it is emotionally draining. And for me, it's not always easy. I've always been very empathetic, and so those types of situations are really hard for me to not emotionally connect myself and put myself in their shoes and be like, I need to change my life. I need to change what I'm doing. I need to not be so afraid and stuck on this hamster wheel that I get myself on. And I think for me personally, this really comes down to a fear of failure and a fear of judgment, because I've always been very afraid of failing, which is why like I just will keep going, keep working as hard as I can, because I don't want to like look back on my life and be like, oh, I was a failure. But I am getting better at this. I have been doing so much work, so much personal development, personal growth work to change my mindset and understand what failure actually means to me, and that I am the person that defines that for my own life. And as long as at the end of the day, I feel good about it and I know that I'm doing everything in my power to make a life that is amazing and wonderful for me, that's all that matters. It truthfully is all that matters. My message today is, why wait? What are you waiting for? You may wake up tomorrow and before you know it, it literally happens in a matter of seconds. You have a little symptom, you go to the hospital, you go to the doctor, get checked out, and before you know it, you have a cancer diagnosis and now you're fighting for your life. And I'm not trying to scare anybody. This is not fear mongering. I'm not saying everybody here has cancer. We're all going to die of cancer. This is just a perspective, because you never know. You never know when life is going to slap you in the face, and before you know it, you're fighting for your life. So, wouldn't you much rather get to that point and all of a sudden you're 40 and you're fighting this cancer diagnosis, but you can look back on your life and at least be like, okay, well, I've been living how I want. I'm happy. I'm joyful. It's amazing. I love my life, versus looking back and being like, oh my God, I'm 40. I've been doing this job I hate for 20 years. I could have just started that business. I could have gotten that divorce. I could have gotten married. I could have traveled here, traveled there. Like all these things start to come up and your life literally starts to flash before your eyes. I have seen it over and over and over again. And that's why I'm saying these people, these patients, these amazing souls and human beings that are fighting for their lives, I have learned so much through them. Hi, Kona. Do you see her in the background? Hi, baby girl. Hi. Hi, baby girl. Because, anyways, I literally forgot what I was saying. I know I was talking about people fighting for their lives and getting that cancer diagnosis, and how these patients are inspiring. And yeah, that's my message there is, don't wait until something drastic is happening in your life to then be like, oh my God, like I need to start living for myself. I need to start doing this. I need to start doing that. This is, for example, like this is one reason why I travel so much. Like I love to travel, and I would love to do some travel vlogs on here. And I have had some people ask me to do like some specific like travel destinations that I've got on and do episodes about that. So I think that I will. But this is one reason why I travel so much, especially as I'm younger, because for me personally, I know that I don't have kids. It's a little bit easier for me, but we all have responsibilities. I have two dogs. I have a full-time job. I have multiple jobs. My partner has a job. Like it is, we still have a life. It's not like we can just like pick up and go anytime we want. But for us, we do prioritize the travel because it's important to me to like see the world and to like see where we live. Like it really like inspires me. I love the different cultures. It makes me feel like my mindset and my horizon is just expanded, and I learned so much through it, and I just love it. It's fun. It's something that my partner and I really share that deep love for, is to just travel somewhere new. And you know I don't I I don't want to look back on my life and be like, gosh, I should have gone there, I should have done this, I should have done that. Like, why not? Like, I will spend a little bit of the extra money to go, because this gets real sticky. This gets real hard to kind of like talk about, because I don't want anybody to think that I'm like, blow all your money, go on the vacation. Like, you can't pay your rent? Fuck it, go on the vacation. Like, it's a balancing act. Um, of course, I would love to travel 365 days a year, but I would be broke and I would have $1 million in debt. So, you don't have to go extravagant places. Like just go for a road trip or drive to the next town over that you've never really explored. Like just get outside of yourself, outside of your box, like see places. That's something that just like really drives me. And then there's the simple things, like in the morning, go outside, feel the sunshine, hear the birds chirping. Like I can literally, as I'm sitting here recording this, I can like see the sun coming up and I can hear the birds chirping outside. And it is like so joyful for me because it grounds me. It makes me feel so connected to the earth and to my soul and just like to the universe. And I don't care if that sounds all types of witchy woo woo, but I love it. Something that I follow Gary Vee on probably every social media platform. If you don't know who Gary Vee is, like go take a look at his stuff. It's Gary Vee, like VEE. He is very inspiring, uplifting, and just gives like crazy perspectives on life. And yesterday he had shared something that was like, how do you know how rare it is that you're a human being, that you have the opportunity to be a human being on this earth? It is literally so rare. He said it was like 400 trillion to one that you're a human being and you have a life to live. Like, why are we, I know why. We are so stuck in these cycles and hamster wheels because that's society pressures. That is society putting a stamp on our lives and being like, this is how you have to live, or you're a failure, or you're going to get to retirement age and not have any money. It's all fear based. And I am trying so hard to unlearn that. And it is freaking hard. It's hard work. And I'm telling you, it's not easy, but it's worth it. It's worth the work. It's worth giving it the thought and starting to unravel your life a little bit and maybe go against the status quo and against what you always thought to be true. And so back to the 400 trillion to one, the chances, the odds to be a human being. Gary Vee was also saying you're more likely to win the lottery 10 times over than be human. Like these statistics are insane. Like you can't even wrap your mind around those types of things. Like we can't even wrap our mind around winning the lottery once. Like you are more less likely to be human. You are more likely to win the lottery 10 times than to be a human. Just think about it, all right? Just think about it. All right, everybody. Again, this episode was not meant to scare you. If you woke up this morning, you have a little bit of pain in your belly, don't just jump to the fact that you have cancer. Like I'm not trying to freak everybody out. I just wanted to give a perspective on don't wait until something crazy or drastic happens in your life to look back and be, or to change and to be like, okay, I'm going to live my life for me from now on. This is how I want to live. I don't want to do this job anymore. I don't want to be in this marriage anymore. I don't want to live in this town anymore, in this house, this apartment, like whatever it may be for you. Don't wait. You don't have to wait until you have something crazy, drastic happening in your life. Like just look at your life now and start living for yourself. That is such a huge message for me, is to just live for you and to give this life that you have an honest shot. And I would much rather get to the end of my life and be like, you know what? I gave it my best freaking shot. I tried as best as I could versus I played it so safe and didn't really get to do the things that I wanted to do. So that's my message today. That's the episode. That's the conversation. Here's some coffee. Cheers to you and happy Monday. And I hope that you all have an amazing, fabulous, wonderful week and, start doing little things each day to change your life and to start living for you and living the life that you've always wanted to live because nobody's going to do it for you and life's not going to wait for you. The world's going to keep on spinning, baby. All right, my friends. Have a beautiful day. Have a beautiful week. This is Colton. This is the Mile 17 podcast. Follow me on socials at Colton North 17 on Instagram and TikTok or at Colton Lord on YouTube. You can also find me on Facebook. Just search Colton Lord. It's been great. It's been fun. I'll talk to y'all later. See ya.